The emergency lights pulsed softly throughout the generation ship Dauntless *. Captain Jum Kim stood tall near the main viewport, his eyes fixed on the display showing Earth's receding form. The blue-green planet grew smaller by the second. A lump formed in his throat. "We're really leaving," he whispered to himself. Humanity had finally accepted the inevitable truth. Earth was dying. Centuries of pollution, resource depletion, and climate change had pushed their homeworld past the point of no return. The final wars over the remaining habitable lands had nearly finished what environmental collapse had started. "Status report?" June asked, his voice steady despite the weight in his chest. Chief Engineer Sunwoo Park looked up from her console. Her fingers moved quickly across the glowing controls. "All systems nominal, Captain. The fleet is maintaining formation. Generation systems are stable." June nodded silently. This wasn't just one ship departing the doomed world. It was part of humanity's desperate gamble for survival. Thousands of massive vessels carrying the remnants of Earth's population into the unknown. The Dauntless carried 50,000 souls. Each person represented carefully selected genetic diversity, skills, and knowledge. Everything humanity might need to start again. "Navigation confirms we're on course for the Centauri system," announced First Officer Tahan from his station. "Estimated arrival in 78 years. 78 years. June would never see their destination. Neither would most of the crew. This journey belonged to future generations. For decades, the human Exodus fleet traveled through the void. Children were born who never knew Earth. The old died with memories of blue skies and open waters. The fleet maintained itself, recycling everything, wasting nothing. They developed new technologies out of necessity. Better engines, more efficient life support, more powerful sensors. When they finally approached their target star system, they discovered something unexpected, evidence of an alien civilization. Signals, artificial structures. They weren't alone in the universe. The first contact wasn't with one alien species, but many. The humans learned they had stumbled into territory claimed by the Galactic Council, a loose federation of spacefaring civilizations. Admiral Hyun-Lee, who had been born during the journey and now commanded the military aspects of the fleet, remembered her first meeting with Council representatives. The dismissive tone of the Arcturan delegate still burned in her memory. Another refugee species, the tall, six-limbed alien, had said with a flick of its upper appendages. "Primitive technology. No threat, no benefit. Assign them unclaimed territory in the outer systems." The Council barely acknowledged humans except to warn them away from developed worlds. They were treated as beggars, given only what no one else wanted: barren moons, asteroid belts, gas giant satellites with hostile environments. But this underestimation became humanity's greatest advantage. While appearing to struggle as nomadic refugees, humans built hidden shipyards in dense asteroid fields. They established secret bases in nebulae where sensors couldn't penetrate. They studied alien technologies whenever possible and improved upon them. They planned and prepared, all while the galactic powers looked away. Humans learned that the Council races were comfortable in their dominance. They hadn't faced real competition in thousands of years. Their militaries were designed for parades and internal security, not actual warfare. Their ships were beautiful but impractical. Their weapons impressive but untested. Captain Minho Park commanded one of the first true human warships, the Defiant *. Unlike the repurposed generation ships, the Defiant * was built for speed and power. Its weapon systems were unlike anything in Council space. Practical, redundant, and designed by people who remembered Earth's final wars. The Meridor pirates saw human outposts as easy targets. These raiders preyed on weaker species across the outer systems, taking resources and slaves with impunity. When they attacked the human mining colony on Helios IV, they expected the usual: minimal resistance followed by easy plunder. They didn't expect Captain Park's response. The Defiant emerged from hiding with 4 sister ships. The human vessels moved in perfect coordination, cutting off the pirates' escape routes before they even realized they were under attack. "This is your only warning," Minho transmitted. "Leave human space immediately or be destroyed." The pirates, unused to resistance from refugee species, responded with threats and opened fire. The battle lasted less than 20 minutes. The human ships moved like predators, their tactics unlike anything seen in Council space. When it ended, the pirate fleet was destroyed completely. The few survivors who escaped in life pods spread whispers throughout the outer systems about the newcomers who fought with unexpected ferocity. Humanity had revealed the first glimpse of their true capabilities, and the galaxy would never be the same. Ambassador Doyan Choi stood perfectly still in the great chamber of the Galactic Council. The room's curved walls rose 100 meters overhead, designed to make representatives of lesser species feel small. The effect wasn't lost on her. "The Council's decision is final," announced the Centaurian diplomat, his 4 arms spread wide in a gesture his species considered reasonable, but humans recognized as dismissive. Humans lacked the established presence for full recognition. Do-Yun maintained her composure, though frustration burned within. 5 years of diplomatic efforts dismissed in a single sentence. 5 years of careful negotiations, evidence presentations, and relationship building, all for nothing. "With respect," she said carefully, "humanity has established 16 stable colonies across 7 systems. Our trade networks extend through 3 sectors. We have demonstrated peaceful. Nomadic settlements do not constitute recognized territorial claims," interrupted the Arcturan representative, not even bothering to look at her. "The matter is settled. You may petition again in 20 standard cycles." 20 standard cycles, nearly 30 Earth years. Do-Yun bowed slightly, the proper diplomatic response, though she wanted to scream. This wasn't about established presence. The Council simply refused to admit a new power that might someday challenge their authority. As she left the chamber, her assistant Jun handed her a secure tablet. "Message from command," he whispered. Do-Yun read quickly and smiled for the first time that day. While the Council played political games, humanity was preparing for different outcomes. Across the galactic rim, far from the political center, Commander Ju Kang stood on the bridge of the training carrier Resilience *. Through the view screen, he watched 50 small attack craft perform complex maneuvers around a simulated enemy fleet. "Red Squadron, adjust formation delta," he ordered calmly. "Blue Squadron, execute flanking pattern on my mark." The human ships moved with precision and coordination that would have seemed impossible to Council military experts. Unlike the rigid hierarchies of other species, where ships waited for direct orders from command, human fleets operated with initiative and adaptability. "Mark," Jihu said. The attack craft shifted instantly. What had appeared to be a standard assault pattern transformed into something entirely different. The simulated enemy ships, programmed with standard Council tactical responses, failed to adjust quickly enough. "Exercise complete. All targets neutralized," reported Lieutenant Hanayon from the tactical station. Jihu nodded with satisfaction. "Excellent. Have all squadron leaders report for debriefing in 30 minutes." Unknown to the commander, a Proximan military attaché had been observing the exercise from a diplomatic vessel at the edge of the system. The gray-skinned alien watched the replay of the human maneuvers with growing concern. "They fight like water," he dictated into his recorder. "Flowing around obstacles, striking where least expected. Individual ship commanders act without constant direction. This is concerning." He transmitted his observations directly to Proximan Military Command with the highest priority marking. 2 months later, across the galaxy, the peaceful Nil faced extinction. The Veltraxian Empire, aggressive and expansionist, had decided the Nil's resource-rich homeworld would make an excellent addition to their territory. That the Nil would be enslaved or exterminated was merely an unfortunate detail. The Veltraxian battle fleet emerged from hyperspace near Nil Prime, expecting minimal resistance. The Nil were philosophers and artists, not warriors. What the Veltraxians didn't expect was Colonel Yoonji-yoon's human battle group, which emerged from hyperspace moments later, positioning between predator and prey. "This is Colonel Yoonji-yoon of the Human Defense Force," she transmitted on all frequencies. "This space is protected. Withdraw immediately." The Veltraxian commander's laughter echoed through the communication channel. "Protected? By whom?" "Your refugee fleet. We have 30 warships. Remove yourselves or be destroyed with the Nil." Yoonji made no further attempts at communication. She had given fair warning. Her battle group consisted of just 12 ships, but these weren't the makeshift vessels the galaxy believed humans operated. These were true warships, built in secret, incorporating technologies humans had developed during their long journey and others they had reverse-engineered from recovered Council wrecks. "All ships, execute pattern rainfall," Yoonji ordered. The human vessels accelerated suddenly, breaking formation in what appeared to be random directions. The Veltraxians, confused by this apparent tactical error, moved to engage the scattered targets. It was exactly what Yoonji wanted. Human ships sliced through the Veltraxian formation, firing precision strikes against engines and weapon systems. They communicated using a quantum entanglement system that couldn't be intercepted or jammed. Each captain knew their role in the larger plan but had freedom to adjust as needed. The ensuing battle lasted only 6 hours. When it ended, 22 Veltraxian ships were disabled or destroyed. The remainder fled in disarray, abandoning their invasion plans. News of the battle spread quickly through official and unofficial channels. The Veltraxian retreat sent shockwaves through galactic power centers. Humans weren't just refugees anymore. They were a military force of consequence. In the council chamber, representatives whispered nervously. The species they had dismissed as no threat, no benefit, had just defeated an established imperial power. Perhaps the 20-cycle waiting period for human recognition deserved reconsideration. Grand Admiral Taewoo Shin stood on the bridge of the Indomitable Asterisk, his hands clasped behind his back. The flagship of the human armada stretched nearly 5 kilometers from bow to stern. Its sleek design hid weapons systems that could reduce a small moon to rubble. Through the main viewport, Taewoo could see hundreds of other warships, each a testament to human determination and ingenuity. For decades, humanity had built in secret. Now was the time to reveal their true strength. "All systems are ready, Admiral," reported Captain Minli from her station. "The fleet awaits your command." Taewoo took a deep breath. This moment would change the course of galactic history. "Send the message," he ordered. Min nodded to the communications officer. Seconds later, across the galaxy, on every diplomatic channel, humans made their position clear. Recognition as equals or demonstration of strength. The message was simple, transmitted in all major galactic languages. To the Galactic Council and all sovereign powers, for too long, humanity has been denied its rightful place among the stars. We no longer request recognition. We demand it. Acknowledge humanity as equals with full rights under galactic law, or we will demonstrate why this acknowledgement should have been freely given. You have 48 standard hours to respond. The Council's response came in just 12 hours. Rejection wrapped in diplomatic language but clear in its intent. Humans were to remain second-class citizens of the galaxy. Taewoo received the message without surprise. The Council races had grown comfortable in their power. They couldn't imagine any real threat to their dominance. "They've made their choice," he said quietly. "Execute Phase 2. The response was not anger, but calculated action. Human ships began appearing in system after system, not in ones or twos, but hundreds, thousands. On the Arcturan homeworld, civilians looked up to see human warships filling their skies. On Centauri Prime, morning commuters stopped to watch massive vessels taking position over major cities. Near the Proximan shipyards, human destroyers emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, weapons powered but not targeting. Each human ship broadcasts the same message on repeat. We come in peace. This is a demonstration of presence only. No hostile action will be taken unless we are fired upon. In the Magellan system, home to the galaxy's largest antimatter production facility, Governor Jew Park commanded a fleet of 10,000 ships. As they took position around the facility, he received an urgent communication from the local defense force. "This is an act of war," sputtered the Veltraxian commander. "Withdraw immediately or face destruction." Jew smiled slightly. "We have no hostile intent, but if you fire upon us, we will respond appropriately. I suggest you consult your superiors before taking any regrettable actions." The Veltraxian ships held position, weapons armed but not firing. Similar scenes played out across 1,000 worlds. Human forces appeared everywhere, overwhelming in number but carefully non-aggressive. On Galactic Central, the massive space station that served as the Council's headquarters, the Arcturan High Commander stared at incoming reports with growing horror. "How many?" he whispered, his upper limbs trembling. The aide, a junior officer who had drawn the unfortunate duty of delivering this news, swallowed hard. 700,000 warships confirmed, Excellence. And the aide hesitated, looking down at the datapad. Intelligence suggests this represents only their expeditionary force. "Impossible," the High Commander whispered. "Where have they been hiding such a fleet? How did they build it without our knowledge?" "Unknown, Excellence, but verification from multiple sources confirms these numbers. Human vessels have appeared in every major system simultaneously." The High Commander slumped in his support harness. 700,000 warships. The combined fleets of all Council races numbered less than 200,000, many of them outdated or ceremonial vessels. "Have they attacked anywhere? Fired upon our ships?" he asked desperately. "No, Excellence. They maintain position but have initiated no hostile actions. They simply wait." Within hours, messages flooded in from every corner of Council space. Planetary governors demanded protection. Corporate leaders begged for assurances their facilities wouldn't be damaged. Military commanders requested permission to engage, while simultaneously reporting they were outnumbered 10 or 20 to 1. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Galactic Council called an emergency session. Representatives from all major species gathered in the Great Chamber, fear evident even across varied biologies. The Centaurian Premier took the central platform, all four limbs raised for attention. "The situation is unprecedented," he began, his voice amplified throughout the chamber. "Humanity has revealed military capacity beyond anything we thought possible. We should strike now, before they attack," shouted the Veltraxian ambassador. "With what?" responded the Proximan defense minister. "They outnumber us everywhere. A first strike would be suicide." As the debate raged, a simple message appeared on every display in the chamber. "The human ambassador requests audience." Silence fell instantly, after a moment of stunned inaction. The Centaurian Premier nodded to an aide. "Show her in." Ambassador Doyen Choi entered the chamber alone, walking with measured steps to the center of the floor. The same chamber where she had been dismissed so many times now watched her in fearful silence. "Esteemed representatives," she began calmly, "shall we discuss recognition now?" On Proxima II, Defense Minister Juwen Kang sat in his secure bunker 3 kilometers beneath the planetary surface. His eyes moved from screen to screen, reviewing security footage from a dozen worlds. Everywhere, the same sight greeted him. Human warships in perfect formation, holding position above major cities and strategic locations. "They haven't fired a single shot," he noted, rubbing his tired eyes. 3 days had passed since the human armada appeared throughout Council space. 3 days of waiting. His senior advisor, General Yuna Bake, stood nearby with arms crossed. "They don't need to," she replied. "The mere presence is enough." Juwan nodded slowly. The psychological impact of the human fleet was perhaps more devastating than any attack could have been. Without destroying a single building or taking a single life, humanity had demonstrated complete military dominance. "What do we know about their capabilities?" he asked. Yuna brought up a detailed analysis on the main screen. Very little concrete information. Their ships use energy signatures unlike anything we've recorded before. When our sensors try to scan them, the readings come back confused, as if the ships are somehow partly out of phase with normal space. Stealth technology. No, Yuna shook her head. Not stealth, something more fundamental. Our scientists have theories, but nothing confirmed. Juan sighed deeply. And how are our people handling this? Yuna's expression darkened. Not well. Across countless worlds, civilians look to the skies with fear. On developed planets like Proxima I, citizens had access to real-time news and government updates. On outer colonies and less connected worlds, panic spread like wildfire. Markets closed as economic systems froze in uncertainty. Religious services swelled to unprecedented numbers. Many believed the end had come. On Veltrax Prime, the main temple of the eternal flame couldn't contain the crowds. Worshippers spilled into the streets, chanting prayers for deliverance. On Centauri IV, people hoarded supplies, convinced invasion was imminent. Throughout the galaxy, military families said tearful goodbyes as defense forces mobilized for what many believed would be a hopeless last stand. Yet hour after hour passed without attack. The human ships simply waited. On Arcturus Prime, the Council's scientific headquarters buzzed with frantic activity. Intelligence Director Sumgo Park, a human who had served the Council for decades and held dual citizenship, prepared to present his findings. The Emergency Scientific Committee had gathered in the high-security briefing room. Representatives from every major species waited nervously as Sumgo organized his data. "Thank you for coming on such short notice," he began. "For the past 72 hours, our best teams have been analyzing the human fleet. What we've discovered is concerning." He projected a series of technical readings. Human shield technology exceeds our most advanced systems by centuries. Their energy containment methods allow for power generation that should be impossible in vessels that size. He took a deep breath before continuing. "Their weapons," he paused, looking around the room. "We can't even properly measure their capabilities. When we attempt to scan their weapon systems, our instruments either fail or return readings that make no scientific sense." A Centaurian counselor scoffed loudly. "Impossible. They're using some kind of jamming technology. Our power exists to ensure no species suffers as we did. The galaxy can be better than it is. We intend to help build that better future, with you, not despite you." On the Arcturan homeworld, families huddled around screens looked at each other in confusion. This wasn't the speech of a conqueror. "Our ambassador Doyan Choi stands ready at the Galactic Council with our proposal for a new beginning. We ask only that you listen with open minds. The choice before us is simple: continue with systems that serve only the powerful, or build something that serves all." Tehu's expression softened slightly. "Our ships will remain in position until negotiations conclude. They will take no aggressive action unless attacked. The future is in all our hands now." The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, stunned silence gave way to cautious discussion. Was this a trick? A form of psychological warfare? Or could it possibly be genuine? Aboard the Galactic Council station, Ambassador Doyan Choi stood before the full assembly. Every member world had sent representatives. The massive chamber was fuller than anyone had seen it in centuries. "The current galactic structure has existed for 10,000 years, Doyan began. "In that time, how many species have been conquered? How many worlds stripped of resources? How many civilizations deemed primitive and denied protection under your laws?" The council representatives shifted uncomfortably. No one spoke. "Humanity's true purpose is not domination," she continued, her voice gaining strength. "We propose a new framework for interstellar cooperation based on mutual respect rather than hierarchy. a system where technological advancement doesn't determine a species' worth. She activated a holographic display showing a complex network of connections. The old hierarchies protected the powerful, she explained. Our proposal protects everyone. 700,000 warships stand ready, not to enforce human rule, but to ensure a transition to a more just order. The Centaurian premier arose to speak. Pretty words, Ambassador. But why should we believe humans would use their power differently than any other dominant species? Do-Hyun smiled slightly. Because we've already proven it. During our so-called demonstration, did a single human ship fire upon yours? Did we destroy one city? Take one life? We could have conquered half the galaxy before you organized a response. She looked around the chamber. Instead, we wait. We talk. We propose partnership. For 3 days, negotiations continued. Human representatives explained their vision in detail. A new galactic charter that guaranteed rights to all sentient species regardless of development level. Protection for emerging civilizations. Shared technology to solve common problems. Limitations on resource extraction from inhabited worlds. Initially skeptical, many council representatives gradually recognized the potential benefits. Species that had suffered under the old system became early supporters. In a private meeting with the Arcturan High Commander, Do-Hyun addressed the central question directly. What guarantees do we offer that humans won't simply take control themselves? She repeated his question. None that would satisfy you completely. But consider this. If domination were our goal, why would we be here talking? Our actions must speak where our words cannot yet be trusted. As negotiations progressed, tension gradually yielded to cautious hope. The human fleet remained in position, silent guardians of a fragile new beginning. Their very presence a reminder that strength untempered by wisdom brings only destruction. On the 7th day, the Council voted. The new Galactic Charter passed with a 2/3 majority, enough to begin implementation but showing significant resistance remained. When the vote was announced, Admiral Taewoo gave a new order. Begin phased withdrawal. Maintain presence only at strategic points until the transition is complete. Across the galaxy, human ships began disappearing from skies. Not all at once, but gradually, system by system. A gesture of trust, and a demonstration that humanity's promises were genuine. 1 year later, the new Council of Worlds held its first session. Unlike the old council, representatives from all recognized species had equal voice, regardless of technological development or military power. Human representatives sat alongside those they had once threatened, now working together. Millennia later, historians would mark this moment as the dividing line, when the galaxy moved from the age of empires to the age of partnership, guided by the species who arrived with overwhelming force, but chose conversation over conquest. The human fleet faded into legend, their 700,000 warships becoming almost mythical. But their legacy lived on.